Brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Roper's Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Friday, the 28th day of May 2021. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. We've gotten some showers in the Cayman Islands, and we are blessed, to have those showers. Some areas getting more than others. Sometimes you hear it's pouring rain in Georgetown and in the Savannah, Newlands area. Absolutely nothing happening. And then eventually, maybe an hour later, we get the rain there. So we're all blessed. I'm sure that the crabs are happy for the rain as well. And then the crab catchers also will be happy for the rain. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. Or if you will be celebrating one over the weekend, we want to wish you a happy birthday in advance of it. Those of you who have celebrated a birthday, we want to wish you a belated happy birthday as well. For those of you who have lost loved ones, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. And we hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you as well. For those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or operating any type of motorized vehicle, we again urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road, if you know the rules of the road, and you should know them if you've had to pass a driving examination here in the Cayman Islands. But in the event that you may be a little bit out of date as far as the rules of the roads are concerned, maybe you want to pick up one of those the books that are issued by the Department of Vehicle and Licensing, and update yourself on the rules of the road. Some of you may have gotten your license, taken a driving test when there were no roundabouts on the roads of the Cayman Islands, and then you encounter roundabouts and you have to basically try to figure out what to do. I would say to you, familiarize yourself with the new rules of the road in the Cayman Islands. That, folks, may be what will help to ensure that the life you save may just be your own. Before I introduce my guests, I also want to say, normally I don't announce these things unless I'm sure, and this is coming from the Jamaica Gleaner today. Jamaican tourism pioneer Ernie Smart dies in Miami, age 88. Apparently he died yesterday in Miami. And there's just a short portion in the Jamaica Gleaner about him. I haven't gone over to the Jamaica Observer yet to see what they have had to say about him, but of course he was a businessman here in the Cayman Islands as well. So just wanted to, those of you who are, especially in the tourism industry, who may not be aware of it, that the Gleaner reports that Mr. Ernie passed away yesterday at the age of 88 in Miami. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and, by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Art Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. This morning, radio voice of Silver Fox, Mr. Paula Cowell, waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can leave us a text message or send us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And, of course, follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. As far as the COVID-19 vaccination for the weekend, the schedule for the weekend, today, the 28th of May, at Camana Bay from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m., and then again from 4:30 until 7 p.m. So today, vaccines being administered, or the vaccine being administered at Camana Bay, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. and 4:30 to 7, and also tomorrow at Owen Roberts International Airport, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and then from 12:30 to 4 p.m. So today at Camana Bay, 11 to 3, and then from 4:30 to 7. Tomorrow, Owen Roberts International Airport, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., 12:30 to 4 p.m. So with that, I want to say to you that it is my pleasure to have in the studio again with me this morning none other than Dr. Steve McField. Doc, good morning, sir. Welcome back.
Good morning to you, Mr. For the Record, and good morning to all your friends in for the Mr. Record land. And good morning for all the people in the Cayman diaspora and all the people outside the Cayman diaspora who listens to you Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Good morning to you all, and I'm glad to be back with you. Always excited when I get the call to come. Sometimes I can't sleep in the night when I get the call from you. Very interested and always trying to bring something new to you. And you remember when we were here the last time, we were talking. We raised many issues. And one of the issues that we raised last time was about the diaspora. You were saying that why isn't it that we attract some of those people who left our shores when we had nothing, and when there was no opportunities here to go to other countries to get opportunities. Why don't we attract some of those people's children and grandchildren back to the country, our cousins and our relatives and so forth?
Yes.
And so I was able to track down, since I saw you on Wednesday, I was able to track down the list of marriages. It's called the V Islands Marriages, Rotan, Honduras, from 1858 to 1880.
Wow.
Of Caymanians. The Bordens and McFields and Watlers and Rivers and Diaz and Brooks and Howell, and a lot of these names don't exist in Cayman anymore. But this schedule here shows that who they were married to, and who the father and mother of the brides and the grooms were, and who the minister was and everything. It was very interesting.
And was that compiled based on records in Honduras, I would imagine, yes?
Records in Honduras, and this is what it says. It says the Bay Islanders were predominantly black slaves from the Cayman Islands who were freed in 1834. As their former British slave owners fled Cayman to the northern coast of Honduras and British Honduras, these brave people navigated from Cayman to Honduras to start a new life, as much of the land in Cayman was already owned by someone. So it seems to me that these people went to Honduras to find a better life and to find property that they could own and so forth. And it's very interesting. I am going to get a copy of this for you.
Thank you.
And it's very interesting because some of the names of the people, and it says somewhere they're from Watering Place, from Cayman Brack, and all these places, and it's very interesting to see that some of the names now that left are no longer in Cayman. The names are the names of people, and so it's very interesting to see how far the Cayman history extends, not only in Cayman Islands but all over the world almost. That from 1858 to 1880, they say that this was the great exodus, when so many hundreds of people left Cayman Islands and went abroad to other countries.
Okay.
And I guess what they talk about British Honduras was like Belize, and is now Belize. And of course, the Bay Islands were once a British colonies.
Exactly, yes.
They were not belong to Honduras all along. I mean, they were transferred to Honduras later on.
Okay.
So it's very interesting. And then another event. After we had our show last Wednesday, we were talking about partnerships and that Caymanians should get together. I got a calls from several young people, wanted to know more about the things that I raised, and we were talking about, and we were talking about Caymanians should start their own businesses and own companies and so forth. And you said this morning before the show that includes getting together and building their own apartments, so that Caymanians people can afford them, instead of building apartments where it's cost $1 million and
out of the reach of the ordinary Caymanians.
So it's very interesting to see your show not only raises controversy, but it also raises solutions, and people are listening to it. And I'm very happy to be part of your show, OC, because it seems to me that you are doing a good job.
Okay, thank you very much. The funny thing, I was watching trying to remember the title of the movie now, but it had to do with the Scopes trial.
Oh yes.
And the newspaper guy there, this is actually a quote. Well, I'm going to look it up so I can give it exact rather than paraphrasing it, and what the newspaper guy said about what their mission should be. And I'm going to when I read it, I said, something, this needs to be a part of someone's mission, and whether or not that should be taken up, I should take that up. Somebody else should take that up as well. Some people may not like the way that it comes across, but I will share.
That's the Scope Monka trial.
Yes, the Scope trial.
And the lawyer was Clarence Darrow.
Yes.
He was a great lawyer then. He was one of the greatest lawyers in America at the time, around 1925.
Exactly. Okay, we're going to take a commercial break, Paul. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Austin Burns Connolly, Certificate of Honor, JP 1887-1964.
Mr. Connolly was the first Caymanian to receive the Queen's Certificate and Badge of Honor, which was presented to him in 1959 at the first meeting of the Legislative Assembly under the new Constitution. The honor recognized his many contributions to the economic and social development of the Cayman Islands. Mr. Connolly served East End as Collector of Customs, Sub-Postmaster, Registrar of Births and Deaths, Deputy Receiver of Wrecks and Lighthouse Tender. He collected taxes for East End and North Side, served as a Justice of the Peace and member of the Assembly from 1924 to 1958, and was a member of the Board of Education. He supervised the construction of the road from Franksong to East End in 1935, continuing to Gun Bay in 1940, giving these two districts easier access to the rest of the island. He was a merchant and ship owner who owned the schooners Connolly and Maria and the yawls A.A. Mona and A.A. Radium. He served his Presbyterian church as a manager. He was married to the former Sarah Adrian Baden, with whom he had 3 children.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
The Black Tie Affair with a Circus Twist. Step Right Up, the second annual gala, hosted by Rotary Central for the Alex Panton Foundation. Saturday, May 29th, Marriott Beach Ballroom. Step Right Up supports the Alex Panton Foundation, dedicated to serving and preserving young people through vulnerable times, mental health intervention, treatment, guidance, preserving precious life. The Rotary Central Gala, The Black Tie Affair with a Circus Twist, sponsored and supported by Wheaton Precious Metals, Nelson Attorneys at Law, Massive Equipment, Cayman Spirits. Rotary opens opportunities.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
Are you feeling sick but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough, and sore throat to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Ropers. Appliances, dishware, bulk foods, and so much more. With huge savings, Ropers is stocked for your hurricane supplies. Don't cut back on your needs. Cut back on your spending with Ropers, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Call 949-2511. Clean up your spending with Ropers. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve Macfield. So, Doc, the movie was called Inherit the Wind, and it's an American film based on the 1955 play of the same name written by Jerome Lawrence and Robert Edwin Lee. And the script was adapted basically from the Scopes trial, and in the Scopes Monka trial, and in it, a quote was used, and this quote was, of course, it has its roots in the Bible. It has its roots in the Bible, but a gentleman by the name of Dooley, who used the quote, and of course there was a newspaperman in the movie as well. He had come over from the East Coast to cover the trial as well, and the quote that he used was, "The job of the newspaper is to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable."
Yes.
Comfort the afflicted.
To comfort the afflicted
and to afflict the comfortable. And that's what we need to do here in Cayman, because we have many people who are afflicted, not necessarily physically, but financially, socially, they are afflicted. And we have a lot of comfortable people here in the Cayman Islands as well. And sometimes you have to shake those comfortable people up, especially those who are living in their comfort at the expense of others. Some will argue that they're living in their comfort because of their hard work and everything else.
Yes.
But when you look into it, it is also at the expense of others. And if you take your comfort and you take your riches and you hold them for yourself, and you don't use them for the benefit of the downtrodden, then those are the ones that you have to get out of their comfort level. You have to afflict them. So it's like I said, it's a biblical, has biblical roots, but the newspaperman then saw it as their job to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. Very interesting.
Very interested quote. I have jotted that down, and I am going to make a plaque of that and put it into my office. The role of the newspaperman is to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable.
Yes. Okay, so Doc, yesterday when we spoke, we talked about the fact that and we realize that the government is settling. We have new ministers and everything. I'm not sure. I try to sound out some of the callers when they call in to find out how much time they're prepared to give a government, to get things rolling. Normally, 100 days is when you say it, which is about 3 months. Some people may say, well, let's see 6 months and see what happens. And what I said, we agreed that we would do on the show today, if time allows us, is to look at all of the issues that may be facing the government and try to see, if we were the government, what issues we would be seeking to address as early as possible, and sort of put them in some chronological order. For instance, COVID-19, big issue still in the Cayman Islands, protecting us, from that. And we know that the government has said basically that they're going to continue with the policies of the previous government as far as our safety is concerned and stuff like that. But we also have to look at reopening. Plans have to be made, in terms of how we open up afterwards, how we open up our tourism sector and everywhere else. And when we do that, how do we address the issue of unemployed Caymanians, something that was certainly evident before COVID-19, and how do we go about doing that now? So that is what we want to do. In addition to that, if time allows, we want to look at the Advisory District Council's law as well. We understand that there was a meeting on Wednesday evening, and it would be great if we could get some feedback from any persons who attended that meeting, so that we can know exactly whether or not any ideas were given as far as the way forward, the way forward that the government would take in relation, to that as well. We have about 1 minute before we go to our 8 o'clock news, Doc. Yeah.
Well, that is good. I wish that Mr. Morgan would call, because he seems to be one of the advocates of the meeting, one of the organizers of the meeting at the Papagallo. It would be great if we could call in. We could have some dialogue with him. We could understand what transpired during the meeting, and whether they intend to go ahead with the law as it is, or whether they intend to do any amendments to it, or address it at all. It seems to me that the district councils is one of the tenets of democracy in our society, and nearly every other institution that the Constitution calls for has been implemented, except district councils, except something that the people themselves could participate in, and hold their elected members, their elected representatives accountable. But that has not been done, and we would like to examine this morning as to why that has not been done, and whether or not this new government has any intention to either amend the law, or to put those in place, or to do away with the law. We would like to know today.
Okay. One of our listeners has written in and said the prime duty of the newspaper reporter is to speak the truth, or I guess report the truth as well. And that is true too. That is true. But other than reporting, we see newspapers these days, taking political stands as well, especially when it comes to social issues and everything, and even political ones. You see newspapers decide to endorse candidates either on one side of the spectrum or on the other side of the spectrum as well. But of course, this what Dula said basically wasn't saying that the primary job was that. He just said the job of the newspaper is to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. So that's one of the jobs of a newspaper as well. Top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. Folks, please stay tuned. The conversation with Dr. Steve Macfield will continue after the 8 o'clock news. So don't change that dial.
Radio Cayman time check is now 8:01. This time check is brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
When you're on the go, the experienced team at Foster's Pharmacy are here to help. Drop off your prescription while you shop or WhatsApp us and we'll prepare it, ready for your arrival.
Whether you need prescription or over-the-counter medications, blood glucose testing, or advice on vitamins and supplements, we're here early in the morning to late at night. Both of our locations at our Camana Bay and airport stores are open 6:30 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday to Saturday.
For more info, visit fosters.ky/pharmacy. Foster's Pharmacy. Better health because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a not-for-profit, member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. We have an all-in expense ratio of less than 1%, over 20,000 members, and $490 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s, and today we are still strong, secure, and are here for our employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or require further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. Due to the level of demand over the summer, the Ministry of Tourism says it's reached out to British Airways to request 2 additional flights to the schedule in July and August. Earlier this week, the ministry released the proposed British Airways fortnightly schedule consisting of 8 flights over the next 3 months from June to September. These flights have now been confirmed. But responding to concerns from residents, the ministry approached BA to request additional flights departing London on July 7th and August 18th. Once a response has been received from BA, the government says the public will be updated. Officers from the Traffic and Roads Policing Unit spent 9 days helping Cayman Brac police officers in the Cayman Brac community with road safety and overall community safety. While there, officers carried out various traffic-related operations and connected with members of the community with the aim of making the roadways in Cayman Brac safer. Throughout the week, almost 40 tickets were issued, most of which were for speeding or those due to unregistered vehicles. Tickets were also issued in relation to illegal tent and various other traffic offenses. The CPA 14th Youth Parliament is this Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Radio Cayman's April Cummings has more.
Youth Parliament is usually held each year on Commonwealth Day in early March, but the early elections complicated matters, forcing organizers to reschedule until this weekend. 22 participants from local high schools and tertiary institutions are scheduled to debate 2 motions. The event will be carried live on CIG TV on all 3 local cable providers, as well as on the CIG TV YouTube channel. Members of the public are invited to attend the event at the House of Parliament, and attendees are asked to be seated in the public gallery by 10:15 a.m. After the formal opening, the youngsters will debate 2 private members' motions. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
And a 2-week program gets underway next month to help unemployed or underemployed Caymanians get ready for the world of work.
You can be a high school graduate or a college graduate. You could be looking to change careers, or you could even be retired and looking to come back to the world of work. So it's really broad in terms of who it targets to assist. And we work with people to get them initially short-term employment with the idea to transition them into long-term employment after that.
Work National Training and Development Unit's Program Coordinator Allison England tells Radio Cayman News the first 2 weeks is phase 1 of a 4-phase program. During the 2 weeks, participants will learn resume writing, active listening, building positive relationships, and customer service.
Interview skills, social media in the workplace, surviving and thriving through career change. So a number of very, very relevant topics that, like I said, are both applicable to the world of work, but their personal lives as well.
If you're interested in joining Ready to Work, email readytowork@gov.ky or call 945-9672. The deadline to apply is June 1st. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Danielle Yawowiecka. Fallout from Belarus's decision to force a Ryanair flight to land in Minsk and arrest an opposition journalist is continuing, with Ukraine tightening what it calls air sanctions. Ukraine will, from tomorrow, ban Belarusian planes from using its airspace. Separately, Air France has cancelled another flight to Moscow. The Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga has announced the extension of a state of emergency in Tokyo and several other areas. The measures will stay in place until June the 20th, just a month before the Olympics are due to start. The authorities in the Indian capital, Delhi, say they are planning to gradually lift lockdown restrictions from next week, following a sharp drop in the number of new coronavirus infections. The Chief Minister, Arvind Kejriwal, said factories would be allowed to reopen and construction activity allowed from Monday, moves that would help daily wage earners. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is due to inaugurate a giant mosque in Taksim Square in Istanbul, a public space traditionally seen as a symbol of the secular Turkish Republic. The ceremony takes place on the anniversary of mass demonstrations against Mr. Erdogan's government in 2013, which began in Taksim Square and spread across the country. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Are you aware of the performance of your pension plan? The Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan provides quarterly fund fact sheets for our members to stay informed with the plan's performance. For the year ended August 31st, various life cycle funds provided returns between 9.2% and 16.5%, and our all-in expense ratio is currently the lowest it's ever been, a record low at 0.72%. Visit chamberpension.ky to review our fund fact sheets. You can see the performance as far back as 10 years. Remember that pensions are a longer-term investment strategy. Focus on the long term rather than the short-term returns. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan continues to perform for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
We asked 100 people what they would do with a little extra time. Top answers included hang with friends, sleep, volunteer, walking on the beach, watch TV. But the odd thing is, no one said, stand in line to pay my bill. Funny that. Now Logic introduces Logic My Account. Pay online, view bill history, schedule automatic payments, and more. Go to logic.ky/my account and pay online, not stand in line. Logic My Account. Go on. Give yourself a little extra time. Bake a cake, browse the web, yoga, spring clean.
Did you know there are 13 approved private garages that can do your motor vehicle inspections? To see the full list of approved garages, visit www.dvdl.gov.ky.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Song Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
Beautiful Friday morning, Cayman. Let's take a look at your weather. Right now, it's nice and sunny on the outside. Present temperature 82 degrees Fahrenheit, but it feels like about 93. Winds are out of the east-northeast at 6 miles per hour. Relative humidity 83%. Last night's dew point was at 75. Barometric pressure is at 29.97 inches and holding. Light winds and slight seas are expected over the Cayman area for the next 24 hours due to a weak pressure gradient across the Caribbean. Isolated showers are also expected today as an upper-level trough moves across the northwest Caribbean. So our forecast for today, partly cloudy skies with cloudy spells and a 30% chance of late morning showers, and showers may become locally heavy at times. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s. Winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots. 5 knots or less. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. And tonight, partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s. Winds will be light and variable. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. We're in a low tide. High tide is coming up at 10:34 this morning. It's going to be low at 5:05 this afternoon. It's going to be high at 12:08 a.m. tomorrow morning, low at 6:33 a.m., high at 11:41 a.m., and low at 6:08 p.m. Sunset this Friday evening is at 6:57. Sunrise for Saturday morning at 5:48. And the outlook is for similar weather conditions through Sunday morning. That's your latest weather, brought to you by our good friends at Pan American.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we're more than just an insurance company, we're family. To learn more about our first-in-class group health and employee benefit solutions, please visit Pan American Life Insurance Company of the Cayman Islands at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Sound Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304. You can also visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving your goals is a very rewarding feeling, but at times can feel very frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success.
When setting your goals, break it down. Once the long-term goals are set, work backwards to set smaller and more manageable goals. These should be specific, measurable, and achievable. For example, study in the library for 1 hour 3 times per week instead of study more. Consider what you need to do daily, weekly, or by the end of the year in order to succeed. Smaller goals allow you to focus on the essential steps today to ensure you are prepared when tomorrow's opportunities become available.
Change your thinking and change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong Series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. On Course Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. On Course Cayman. Health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
All right, Cayman, good morning to you. Once again, let's take a look at the traffic situation. Looking at the east-west arterial, Creighton Boulevard area. Traffic has eased up there, but just moving a little way down to the Red Bay roundabout. I expect that traffic to be right there, boom, bam, right into that. And slow-paced movements as you continue along Shamrock Road. If you're heading through South Sound, expect some heavy traffic along South Sound Road as you enter that area, and it's very slow-paced. So a bit of a commute time if you're going through South Sound. Those of you continuing on to Shamrock Road, onto Crew Road, onto the Linford Pearson Highway, and continuing on to Crew Road. Yes, got the usual traffic out there as well. And slow pace. Expect at least 10 to 12 minutes to get to your destination in Georgetown. Of course, just south of the runway, continuing on to Crew Road as you make your way onto Shedden Road. I guess got that usual slow-paced traffic there. And for those of you at the four-way traffic at Smith Road, continuing on to Huldah Avenue, bit of traffic there as well as you continue on to Elgin Avenue or continuing on to Thomas Russell Way. Walkers Road, busy as well as you make your way up. Those going through Windsor Park, expect the usual traffic, especially on Anthony Drive there, coming back onto Smith Road. Those streets are busy. Shedden Road, South Church Street looking busy. And some traffic also coming out of the West Bay area into Georgetown. West Bay Road looking busy as well. On the Esley Tibbetts Highway, good flow of traffic. And a bit of traffic just east of that as well. Heading towards CUC or Water Authority, traffic there as well. Of course, it all eases up as the morning progresses, as you make your way into work. Have yourself a great day. A traffic report, of course, brought to you by our good friends at Subway. Hope you grabbed breakfast from Subway.
When you're tight on time and budget, but big on flavor, Subway's Meal of the Day hits the spot. Enjoy daily meals on classic sandwiches like tuna, Black Forest ham, meatball marinara, and more. Starting at $6.25 for 6-inch meals and $8.75 for footlongs. You can get Subway's Meal of the Day. Enjoy a different sandwich on a different day for the same price. Mix it up with cookies or chips or waffle fries for the same price. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
The Black Tie Affair with a Circus Twist. Step right up, the second annual gala hosted by Rotary Central for the Alex Panton Foundation. Saturday, May 29th, Marriott Beach Ballroom. Step right up supports the Alex Panton Foundation, dedicated to serving and preserving young people through vulnerable times, mental health intervention, treatment, guidance, preserving precious life. The Rotary Central Gala, The Black Tie Affair with a Circus Twist, sponsored and supported by Wheaton Precious Metals, Nelson Attorneys at Law, Massive Equipment, Cayman Spirits. Rotary opens opportunities.
Radio Cayman brings you For the Health of It live with Tara Bush on Wednesday at 7 p.m. And if you miss it, you can tune in for the rebroadcast on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. Chlorodo Bleach is proud to sponsor For the Health of It. Mildew, no problem. Stains, no problem. Whites, no problem. Sanitary cleaning, no problem. Chlorodo Bleach has got you covered. For the ultimate clean, use Chlorodo Bleach. Available at Foster's Food Fair, 2 liters and 1 gallon sizes. Pick up your bottle today.
The ultimate clean is a Chlorodo Clean.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the Record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning, again, Dr. Steve MacPhail. So, two areas that we would like to cover this morning if time allows and if the conversation continues in that direction. Number one has to do with the government, what we expect them to be looking at, what we think that they should be looking at, as well as what is legally required, some of the things that they're legally required to do based on our Constitution and based on legislation like the Public Management and Finance Law. The other thing we want to discuss is because this has been big on the agenda, and we know that there was a meeting that took place on Wednesday night, or was supposed to take place. When before we left the show, we were sure that it would take place on Wednesday night, and we're anxious to hear the outcome of that meeting, what was detailed in that meeting, what people's understanding is as far as the way forward in relation to our advisory district council legislation. We know, Dr. MacPhail, that in 2020, last year, there was a motion, private members' motion, that was brought forward in relation to that. That was introduced by the now Minister for Tourism and Transport, the Honorable Kenneth Bryan, and a compromise was arrived at where they agreed that a select committee of the whole House would be established to look into the legislation and how we go about amending that piece of legislation. The government at the time and the Premier indicated that it wasn't something that could be done immediately. There were other burning issues that had to be addressed, and time simply would not allow for it to happen, even if the elections had not been called earlier, some 6 weeks earlier than what was constitutionally expected. So that compromise was reached at that point in time. What's your view on the situation now?
Well, my view on the situation now is that the member of parliament then was in the opposition. Mm-hmm. Now the member of parliament is the honorable minister for tourism, I think, and transportation. And so he has all the tools in his toolkit, in his cabinet toolkit, to bring a motion, not to bring a motion, but to bring a bill, an amendment bill, if that's what is necessary, or to amend the law completely, or to bring a new law if they so desire.
Repeal that one.
And bring a new law if they so desire. The ball is in their court now. It's like the gentleman who called from Cayman on Wednesday, who was trying for years and years to get the police away from his establishment, from his parking lot, and after the police finally left and found a new place,
misses them.
He misses them, and but the thing that he says,
but at least he was able to admit it. He admitted
it, and he says. It says sometimes you
careful what you wish for.
Be careful what you wish for. So now that the minister now is a minister,
yes,
and has all the power now. There's no excuse. That's the point I'm trying to make. There's no excuse now to do something about the advisory district council's law. There's no excuse now to do something about it. Whatever they want to do about it, they have the power. They have the majority. It's like Jim Bodden had told all the members of the banking community when he was trying to raise money for the public housing, the low-income housing, and they were adamant that the government wanted to use their clients' money to help the poor people. Mm-hmm. Jim Bodden told them, say, listen, I want to tell you this. I still have a majority in the legislature, and I intend to bring legislation to deal with it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, They have the majority in the legislature. They are the power. They have the lawmaking body. They have the executive with the cabinet, which is the most powerful thing in the legislature, and they can do whatever they want to do. And there's no excuse now to solve the problems, whatever problems they say that the advisory district council law pose. They have now the majority to do that, and I'm looking forward to see what they do.
Okay, now I'm going to put you on the spot here, Doc, because as we all know, that you were instrumental in crafting that piece of legislation. And of course, in crafting it, you were basically acting under instructions given to you in terms of what the legislation should contain, how it should work. The fact that you did that for the United Democratic Party
That's right.
government in no way should disqualify you from being able to look at that legislation again if another government with another viewpoint and another idea in terms of how it should work were to approach you and ask you, because you're familiar with this one, you had your hand in it, so there would be no one better qualified to be able to look at any new legislation and in comparison to what the current legislation is. No person better qualified to do so. And based on what I said earlier, that you basically, while you had a hand in crafting it, you were acting on instructions. So you would be the ideal person for them to use for this?
That's right. And not only that, but I did considerable research in advisory councils in other jurisdictions, New Zealand and Scotland and United Kingdom and Canada. And before the legislation was crafted, we did. In fact, I have a whole thick file on advisory councils and what they do there, how they are compiled, how they're put together, and what their role and functions are. And so I have all of that research. They don't have to reinvent the wheel again. If they want to call me and anytime, I will.
Well, I was going to suggest that I would act as your agent.
Yes.
And if they're interested in getting Dr. Macfield to work on that, then I will be the intermediary.
Yes.
As far as your agent is concerned. No. We constantly hear, we know that legislative drafting, which basically falls under the Attorney General, that they are always swamped with legislation. And of course, anytime the OECD snaps their finger and say, we want legislation change, otherwise we're going to put you on a gray list or on a blacklist, again, we have to jump right away and do that. So we know that legislative drafting is always overwhelmed with work. If you're talking about using the Caymanian skill set, then Dr. Macfield is here. He's right there with the ability to do it. Certainly in a nonpartisan way, because like we have stressed before, he's only doing the legal work. The ideas in terms of what should be contained in that legislation is up to the policy makers.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, you can render advice to them, but it's up to them at the end of the day.
Yes, and not only the advisory district council's law, but also the consumer the Consumer Credit Act. Of course, I made a proposal to certain members of the opposition when we were talking about the whole concepts of the mortgage foreclosures, and there was nothing to protect the mortgagor from losing his property. And I went and I researched what happened in other jurisdictions, and especially the UK. And I made a proposal to some of the members of the opposition. Some of them now, one of them now one of them now is a minister, the minister, and I still have all that. I still have all of that research. I also did a preliminary draft for a consumer credit law that could have been that could have been part of an amendment of any other law, or a law on its that could exist on its own. If they want that too, I have that that they could bring that in. Perhaps they don't need it anymore now, since they are in the government and they are ministers now. Perhaps they can solve that problem. But I still have that. I did the research on that. That which would strike a balance between the mortgagor and the mortgagee when it's come to foreclosure. I still have all of that research.
Well, we constantly heard either members of parliament or other candidates thanking you and always looking to you for advice and being appreciative of the guidance that you have given on air. And that guidance and that advice has always been given free of charge, right? Gratis. So if they could acknowledge you and accept your advice when it was coming for free, and when they were on the other side of the fence, now that they're on the painted side of the fence rather than the unpainted side of the fence,
yes.
Let's see whether or not they're going to be reaching out to you at this point in time. Let's see whether or not that will happen as well. One of our listeners wanted to know, why don't the government and the opposition come on to the show? We're giving them some time. We know that the government will come on to the show. I've spoken to not only members of the opposition, but I have also spoken to former members of parliament as well, who are more than prepared to come on and to talk politics and other issues as well. Of course, we want to give the current government an opportunity to settle in, and that will happen. One of the things that I don't know if it has happened yet, and I will say it on here. Oh, we're way past the commercial break, Paul. So I'll let you take the commercial break. When I return, I'm going to talk about whether or not the new administration has a communication structure in place to deal with their communications. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
The Green Turtle app. So many options. One easy solution. All new subscription feature to automate your weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly top-up. Makes your life easier. Never lose a number again. Keep your children on budget. Yes! Make sure you can stay in touch with your loved one. Woohoo! No hassles. Green Turtle makes it easy. Take a ride on Cayman's Green Turtle Express. Download the Green Turtle app today. It just makes life easier. Remember, you can get mobile gift cards for Xbox, PlayStation, Apple, and Spotify delivered right to your phone. Playtime is now in real time.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
The HSA's Specialist Clinic has relocated to a new, modern, state-of-the-art facility at Smith Road Center to offer you a better patient experience. Receive care from top specialists in chiropractic, complementary and alternative medicine, neurology, ENT, urology, pain management, and more. Our orthopedic and telemedicine clinics remain at the Cayman Islands Hospital campus. Please remember to bring your own face mask when visiting any HSA location. Visit our website, hsa.ky, to learn more. At the HSA, you matter to us.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me Dr. Steve McFeel. Okay, we do have a caller. We'll go to that caller shortly. So the person wanted to know whether or not the government and the opposition will be coming on. We expect the government to come on once they have settled in. Opposition as well as also former members of Parliament. And my question is, we know that the previous government had a communications sector lined up, press secretary, which was not necessarily an established civil service post. We know in previous government, for instance, we had Mr. Charles Glidden, who was press secretary. And then we had Miss
Bush?
Miss Chisholm? Yes, Miss Chisholm.
Miss Chisholm, yes.
So we haven't heard anything from the new government yet in that regard. I know for a fact that they had an office set up which arranged all of the various appearances on my show and on any other show as well. And that was all coordinated, not only for the Premier, but for ministers and for government officials. And of course, we continue to have Mondays open for the government to be able to come on the show. As a matter of fact, now that we have combined opposition, we don't have independents as opposition. The opposition is the progressives.
Yes.
It gives me, we used to have Wednesdays and Fridays for the opposition because they were individuals. Now that we have one, I'll have an extra, possibly an extra day. So we may have 2 days to accommodate the government if they want to be, on the show. But my question is whether or not that is being established. And then the person says, as for work permit holders, plenty of them came back on the flight when this particular individual returned to the Cayman Islands. So we're seeing more and more work permit holders coming back. And they say it's like a lady said previously on the show, now is the time to solve our unemployment issue in the Cayman Islands as far as Caymanians is concerned. I'm afraid that what's going to happen is that we're going to be right back to ground zero at the end of the day. We're going to be right back to where I shouldn't call it ground zero. We're going to be right back to where we were before as far as employment. All the work permit holders going to be right back here. All of the jobs are going to be filled. New jobs going to bring in work permit holders, and the employment situation as far as Caymanians are concerned is still not going to be addressed.
Yes, and then you remember there was this platform slogan, Jobs for Caymanians. That was even the establishing the legislature also before it became Parliament, Jobs for Caymanians. And of course, I wonder how far are they going to implement Section 16 of the Constitution?
Yes,
which gives them the power to hire Caymanians and to say that a particular position in the government, especially in the government and in the government institutions and the government corporations and such, the criteria is that you have to be Caymanian to work there. I wonder how far are they going to push that? How far are they going to implement Section 16 of the Constitution, and how far the job for Caymanians are going to have to take priority now that that some of them are in the government now, and that are in the cabinet and are ministers and can do that and with a stroke of a pen at any time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Doc, let's take a look at some of the obligations that the government has from a parliamentary standpoint, from a legislative standpoint. We do have a caller. I really have to apologize for that. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Thanks for being so patient, and my apologies.
Yes, good morning, Mr. O.C.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm extremely thankful.
Crabs running up that way yet?
Beg your pardon?
Are the crabs running up your way yet?
No, Dot killed them all down along the Bay in West Bay.
Wow.
Good morning, Mr. Steve.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, my name is James Sterling by the third, better known as Jimmy. Put this on for the record. The new government have to put out a brand new pair of shoes. Come out in the district, all 19 of them, don't leave one behind. We came out to listen to them for the voting, for their campaigns. They come out to the public, sit down, stand up, each district, hear what we, the people of the Cayman Islands, want, go back to the house and make that into a law.
Mm-hmm.
Our Cayman lawyers have to defend us now. We are going to need them to defend us now by making our laws for us. I know they want to do that. Here's their opportunity. I'm asking them to come out, hear what the people got to say about this can't remember being the name right now. Anyhow, what the people want.
You're talking about the advisory district councils?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Come out in the night. Give us at least 4 hours, 4 nights, 30 days a week. 30 days a week. And it shouldn't take long to get rid of that. Put the right suggestions into a law drafted by Caymanians. Put Steve McField in front, not second in line, in front, and get this island back to the natives, Natives. If it's anything more to make a native out of that, put it on for me. And we will have our Cayman Island to our comfort once more. Not that we cannot do it. We can do it. We organized this thing. We made these islands. And we don't want nobody coming to tell us that they own this island. No. That has to stop. We want Caymanians drafting our laws, seeing that them laws are drafted according to what we need and what we said. That is the end of my story for this particular program.
Okay, thank you.
A very nice day. I give them new members A+, but young, they were young. We will tell them when they come out what we want, and then you go back in the house and put that in a pot and make it up and cook it.
Got you. Thank you very much for that. Paul, let's try to grab one more caller before the break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Morning,
Morning.
Morning, Dr. Steve.
Good morning.
Quick comment. I'm sitting here listening to the show again this morning, and it's the same story over and over and over for the last 30 years. Unemployment in job. Unemployment in job. We got plenty employment. What we don't have is proper salaries for people to survive. This $6 an hour, that's why these kids don't work.
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to do with it? They can't pay rent with that. And a one-bedroom apartment in Cayman is an easy $800,000 to $1,200 a month. You just can't survive on $6 an hour. The other people come here, they shack up and it's 4 of them go in one place and rent and share rent. When they send $100 back to their country, it's a lot of money. So unless we get the cost of living down and get a proper categorized minimum wage, we're not going nowhere. It can be the same story over. And this government got some serious and fast decisions to make. And a lot of people are not going to like it. But that's why I never got in politics. And I'm not getting there because I'm a warrior for peace. And I like honesty. But I pray for them, and I give them any advice I can give them. But they have some serious decisions to make. All this development in the importation of cars, it has to come to an end. You're building 2 10-story hotels in 7 Mile Beach right now. If tourists do come back here with the money to rent cars on the beach in next high season, where are we going to put them? Can you imagine the congestion there? I see the congestion now. I get ready to go town right now. I didn't want to go. You imagine when you get another, 10,000 tourists on the island with cars? Come on, we got to stop somewhere. It's 50,000 acres of land. It can't continue on and on and on. So they have to look. This is fact. This is reality. So I'm making a comment this morning, but I hope this government look into these things and get things done. And as for status, like what Art McLean said before he got out, if he ever got back in, the first thing he would do would stop issuing status and residences. Status goes to marriage only and nothing else, because we have to control population growth. You imagine 250,000 people here, OC? Come on. Anyway, have a good day.
Thank you very much, caller. Paul, we're going to take that commercial break. One more caller on hold. Short commercial break. When we return, we will take that call, so please stay tuned.
Whether you're finishing a new condo, upgrading your rental property, or simply renovating, make Roper's Enterprises your first stop. Quality furniture at a fraction of the price. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Roper's, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Roper's Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Your home deserves a quality finish. Visit their showroom or shop online at ropers.ky. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals. And being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to my Grass grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
Hep,
Happy 38th anniversary, Le Classique. That's right, Le Classique is celebrating 38 years of business. To mark this milestone, come celebrate Le Classique's 38 years in business with up to 38% off store-wide. Every shoe, every wallet, every carry-on, every handbag, every belt, everything store-wide, up to 38% off. This Thursday, Friday, Saturday, only up to 38% off store-wide at Le Classique, located in the Strand Shopping Center. Happy 38th anniversary, Le Classique. See you there, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. As promised, we're going straight to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning to Dr. Hartfield.
Good morning, Minister. Good morning. Nice to hear your voice.
Thank you very much. It's good to hear your voice, too. I was listening to the show for the last 45 minutes, and I was happy with some of the commentary that was made. And I must say that much of the commentary was justified, particularly that of Dr. Markfield, and suggesting that, we do have the power now to address the district councils. And I want to say that it's a priority for this administration. But there's a lot of priorities for this administration. But I am glad the discussion and the dialogue this morning gave me some creative ideas on how to get the ball rolling. So when we do come up with it, things will already be established. Even from the fact of what one of the callers called in and said, let's get out there in the communities and find out exactly how they want that law to be shaped to affect the lives of the people, because we are a people-focused administration. And that piece of legislation will give more power to the people through these councils. And you're right, Dr. Markfield, being the mastermind behind the last one, can definitely give us a lot of advice. So, Dr. Markfield, as you know, being a previous member of opposition, I probably would have a large hand in trying to guide the messaging or the formulation of the district council. So I'll definitely be reaching out to you for your guidance. You always have so much wisdom, even if I may not agree on a point, but you definitely have a lot of wisdom to pass on, particularly to persons like myself and this administration who are younger in the political field. So I want to let you know that that is a priority, and hopefully, as we are assessing the reintegration of our Caymanians in the tourism industry, as we're working on a fair and safe reopening strategy for our borders. While we're focusing on that in the background, things like the Code of Conduct for Parliament and Code of Conduct for Cabinet members and the district councils could be working in the background to be released later on and in the first year of the administration. The drafting of legislation and public consultation sometimes takes too long, but I can promise you it is a priority for this administration. So that's one point. The second point is just to say, OC, Mr. For the Record, we will be coming on Monday. I can't say which member, but you're 100% correct. Communications with the public is a priority for us. And I think I would like to say to the public that the only reason you haven't heard much from us yet is, there's a lot of people who's chumming at the bits to criticize and say, yeah, they're not prepared for this, they're not prepared for that. So you're better off not saying anything until you're sure you have something to say.
Exactly.
And that you're prepared to say it. So that's the only reason why you haven't heard much from us yet. We're really working hard behind the scenes to analyze exactly what steps to take. And it's not because we don't want to talk. I know that I love to talk. So it's just that you don't want to get up and not have something to say. I don't have the luxury like I used to in opposition to just speak, and have no accountability. Now I do have that, and I recognize that, and this administration recognizes that. So the only reason why you haven't heard much from us is that we're preparing, so when we do come out and we speak, that all the questions that we suspect may come, we're ready to address them.
And I think the public recognizes that, and they have given and are prepared to give the government time to get settled in. Normally, the honeymoon period is usually 100 days, at least 3 months.
Yeah.
And Mr. Minister, Honorable Minister, can I ask you a question? What is your stance about your one of your favorite campaign, not only a campaign topics, but one of your favorite topics during the tenure of your life in the legislature, in the parliament, about jobs for Caymanians. Are you working on that? And is that going to be one of
priority?
One of the priorities.
Well, as you know, I try to pay attention to the PR that's happening in the community, and I've heard you bring that up last Friday, I believe. I think you had brought up one of the pieces, one of the motions that I brought to the House that was turned down.
That's right.
Now that I'm in cabinet, how is that going to be handled? I've been playing over that in my mind and going, listen, man, I know that some people within the civil service didn't support it, but this is where the rubber hits the road. So let's see how that goes, but I ain't backing down on that. Dr. Maxfield, you know how I am. I may be rough around the edges, but sometimes that's the thing that the people love about me the most. So that we're going to hear that, and if the battle has to go down in respect to that, this administration is one that's going to put Caymanians first no matter what it takes. Mm-hmm. So that's going to come. That discussion is going to come. But right now, I think the primary focus is keeping us safe and reopening the borders, because we recognize that the reopening of the borders is going to determine what we can do financially because of the tourism industry and the income the government generates from it. We can't continue to operate on this deficit, and it's going to hurt us long term. We have to get approvals from the UK in respect to our budgeting. They want to know how we're going to make our money. We don't want a situation where the UK has to step in. So that is the number one priority, and we're strategizing on that at the same time. Outlining the priorities that we all campaigned on is something we're also working on. So again, I guess what I'm saying is we're going to try to take advantage as much as possible of that honeymoon period, so that when we do come out and be ready for the criticisms and the opposition to it, that we can show the public of the Cayman Islands and particularly that of the Caymanians that we are ready to stand for them. We have a strategy to make sure that they're protected, and the things that we campaigned on, we will try to implement as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. Some things have a longer term to put in. Some things are their short wins and low-hanging fruit that we can attack. But the assessment of all that, because they're ready and waiting to say, yeah, see, they don't know how to do this. Yeah, they don't know how to do that. So I recognize that well. I think our administration, I recognize that well. So we're just trying to be prepared. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to leave you because you're at a retreat.
Before you
go, Honorable Minister.
Just one question, a point of clarity in relation to Dr. Steve Maxfield, right? And you did commit that you will be consulting, with him. But what I was advocating for was that since he was a part architect of the Advisory District Council's legislation, and since the government at the time, the UDP government, chose to use him to craft the legislation, even though at the end of the day, the Attorney General's office signs off on it. It is not unusual for the private sector in many instances to be assisting the government in crafting legislation. So what I was advocating for was something that Dr. Maxfield would be involved in an official capacity.
Yeah, I was somewhat similar, thinking the same thing. But I'll tell you what my natural reaction is to that. Is that I think you would see that this administration is one about the next generation as well. Mm-hmm. And though I recognize the wisdom and experience that Dr. Maxfield have, I wouldn't advocate for him to be the lead person in it. What I would love to find is a younger...
But he's familiar. He's familiar with the current legislation.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is, I want to find a new young attorney who is doing development of drafting, that maybe he can guide, that would be the lead.
Okay.
Now, I believe in that we have to start putting younger Caymanians to the forefront. And of course, Dr. Maxfield, just like how he's done for me and advised me, he can advise that outside private sector young Caymanian attorney to help with the drafting, so that we're not always dependent on, we can have another generation of Caymanians coming up with that wisdom. So not saying an exclusion of Dr. Maxfield, but leading it, I think that would be one of our key focuses about making sure younger Caymanians get the opportunity. And of course, still has his wisdom there. So you want to have the advantages of putting younger Caymanians first, but at the same time having that wisdom and And how I see that is you put the young Caymanians up front, but have the wisdom in the back advising. Like
Got you.
I ask you guys that leave me there. I thank you so much for the opportunity, and I will reach out to you, Mr. Connor, later on this evening or either tomorrow about who will be coming on Monday, and I look forward to the public. And remember, the vaccination challenge is still going on right now, and I encourage everybody to go get vaccinated. You know, I was one of those first ones who was very reserved about it. I'm happy to say that I've gotten all the information I need to make me feel comfortable, and therefore, if you trust my viewpoint on how I handle things, you should feel comfortable as well. And we're going to be talking a little bit about the vaccination process and try to answer some of those questions to get the public vaccination levels as high as they possibly can to keep us all protected. God bless you both.
Thank you.
God bless the listening audience. Have a good day.
Thank you very much for that. And of course, being vaccinated, and the high percentage of persons being vaccinated is going to be part of the key to opening up the Cayman Islands as well. Folks, top of the hour headline news. Please stay tuned. Those of you who are on hold, quick headline news, and when we return, we will take your call.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported the results of 342 COVID-19 tests on Thursday. All came back negative. Following an evening event at the Easton Public Beach on Wednesday and ongoing community outreach programs, there have been almost 80,000 COVID-19 vaccinations given in the Cayman Islands. Black Lives Matter co-founder says she's resigning from the foundation, but not because of what she called right-wing attempts to discredit her. Patrice Cullors said today would be her last day at the foundation, which she's led for nearly 6 years. The 37-year-old activist's finances came under scrutiny last month after it was reported she owned 4 homes. Black Lives Matter started as a hashtag in 2013 and has since become a global movement. And U.S. sportswear giant Nike has says it stopped working with Brazilian footballer Neymar because he, quote, refused to cooperate in a good faith investigation into an allegation of sexual assault against an employee. The alleged incident happened in 2016 and was reported to Nike in 2018. Nike says its investigation was inconclusive. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have 2 callers on hold, so we're going straight to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Thanks for being so patient.
Good morning, Ozzy.
Yeah, morning. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, Billy Simamba here. And good morning to Dr. Frank.
Good morning, Mr. Simamba. How are you?
Dr. Steve McField. You know, you've got too many McFields who are doctors.
Yes. And more to come.
Yes. And more to come, and you will look forward to more.
Yes.
Now, 2 issues. I really benefited from the last caller and as well as the caller before who talked about a couple of things. Now, first of all, Dr. McField doesn't need a validation from me, but I think I can validate him on one small point, in that at the time when the District Council law was being drawn up, he was really involved in it. I know that because I was the drafter on the AG's side who had to sign off on it.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. You know, and I know that a lot of background knowledge was shown. And of course, as drafters, sometimes we have to find our way to justify our existence. So, of course, we have to sign off on the part of the AG. But I have to say that he had the largest concentration of background knowledge, articulation of the issues, and I would really support your suggestion, AG, very strongly that if the government can use him this time to take that matter forward, that would be really great. He's got the largest concentration of knowledge on that issue. Now, there was also mention of Caymanians, that Caymanians should draft legislation. that caller doesn't probably even realize how valid his point is, and that's why I love to listen to your show, because ordinary people bring out things which we can validate even more. You see, if you go to a place like Canada, Dr. Steve will know this, Canada, Australia, other places, you can't be employed to draft legislation in government unless you are a citizen of that country. It's pure and simple.
That's right.
To this day, exactly. You cannot do that. Why? Because it is sensitive matter. It is matter which, in fact, certain people in the private sector and certain organizations, in fact, would like to know a drafter who can illegally tell them under the table what legislation is coming, because it's valuable to them. Maybe I should have given you that little bit. So in Cayman, there's need to better recognize that, so that government can set real targets to ensure that people who write legislation over time can be Caymanized. At the moment, there are no targets. There is only one drafter there who has been a Caymanian, generational Caymanian, who's been there for more than 10 years. Up to now, she hasn't even gotten a promotion, and if anything, I think they are telling her to leave indirectly. So I think government needs to work on that and ensure that happens. In Cayman, the problem...
And Billy, if I may interrupt you there, I have heard the phrase that, legislative drafting is really not a glamorous job when it comes to the legal profession.
Well, yes, you are right. It's not a glamorous job, and also sometimes it is poor training for private sector, because you understand a lot of substantive law, but your procedure tends to become a little bit weak. But just to respond to that, and there is a famous Ghanaian professor of legislative drafting who taught in the West Indies as well, who said that the responsibility of writing legislation is as exacting as the writing of mathematical formulas and even religious texts. So it's like it's not glamorous, but it is very challenging, and it requires a lot of concentration and so on. But anyway, the point I want to make, basically, I can close off on this, is that there is need in Cayman to ensure that Caymanians, as much as possible by targets, they can start drafting the legislation there. Oh, no, one more thing I have to say. One more thing.
Go,
do you know why when I try to teach people legislative how the legislative process works, you know why it was a federal case? You know why the government went to court and spent $80,000 to prevent me from doing that? It is because people in the private sector who are now influencing the writing of legislation did not want that to happen.
Oh yes. That is you completely correct. That happened when I was in the government too. That happened in my day when I was there. You had to sort of sub-consult them before your ideas and your profession and your professional acumen was validated.
Yes, and you see, and yet consultation is not a problem. And the problem is that when you get to a point where they are now sort of like the leaders in it, it's like when you have to seek their approval. That's where the problem is. And I think in Cayman we have to get the balance properly. We do not elect people who are in the private sector. You elect the government. The government must always be seen to be in charge. That's why, for example, I disagree in having meetings, government meetings, deciding government legislation. I disagree with them being held in private offices, because it sends that message as if the people in the private sector are in charge. Or like when you put together a committee, you guys have got me going here. When you put together a committee which is going to look into a particular piece of legislation or the introduction of a piece of legislation, the chair of that committee should always be from government, because that's like a chief officer, because that's the one who has the ear of the cabinet, the ear of their own minister, so that they are taking all those views from the private sector. Those views are important because those people will be regulated by that legislation. But at the end of the day, it should be the people in government who are in charge of the whole process. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Billy.
Thank you.
Really, again, some very useful and important input that
It's
you've had
always
there.
great to
Thank
hear
you.
from you, Billy. It's always great to hear from you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Okay.
Thanks very much. Learn
Take
a
care.
lot from you guys.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Let's grab the other caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello, good morning, Mr. O.C.
Morning. How are you doing, my friend?
Good, man. Good showers. Raining yesterday. Beautiful weather. Nice mood.
Yes.
I know I got 2 points today, 2 indications, right? Differently, Mr. O.C., right? In the media, right? In the press, the information is very inundated, right? Say, for instance, now, with this COVID-19 speculations, it was caused by wet food, right? Bat, soup, rat, snake, whatever, or if elaborated biological warfare, okay? So you got to be careful how you analyze and observe, right? The whole theory of it. What you talk about this morning, Dr. Steve, Mr. O.C. now, the herb thing, right? Every general election, right? It is consistent of the excellent proverb, a promise is comfort of food, right? And this last election, now, 80% of the candidates said decriminalize, right?
Okay.
Excluding my Uncle Elvis. You say legalize to the fullest, I agree with that too, right? The whole point you make on that now, I don't hear about you need to go to a referendum with that, right? Like 66, like a fraction, a numerator, a denominator, right? Now waste some money, taxing money, right? That get resolved easily. Say for instance now, if I had to legalize Dr. Steve, Dr. O.C., right? The debts, the solvent will be resolved. Be able to pay the debts, neutralize that deficit. You know what I'm saying? But in an I bought a ball game with the herb thing, and I bought a ticket. You understand what I'm saying? But I understand it, but a lot of people understand it. Right? That's a whole different ball game. But like I say again, this last election, I'll follow up in everything online. Right now off the radar on the smartphone. The day after election, the day I call you guys on Radio Cayman, my phone dropped in the parking lot, so off the radar. So I'm a basic simple phone now. So who cares? And now they need to get that solution to sort out the hard thing. Because we don't want oppression, right? And a lot of people got criminal records for that. And you talk about the board they have to expunge that. No. You need to get that resolved right away. Really and truly. Because a lot of people frustrated, despite who are unemployed, whatever they're going through, trauma, whatever. But you need to free up the herbs. Really and truly. Right? Free up the herbs.
Got you.
Tourism. Hold on, Mr. O.C. Give me 30 seconds.
Sure.
Right now, tourism, most tourism, they either college students or retirees and didn't have ticket to. So, hello. They have to come Cayman. They can bypass us. We got to look after. Gentlemen, have a good weekend.
Thank you very much, Rambo. You do the same, and please stay safe. One more caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record. No one's there, Paul. Let's take the commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No one can stop me when I taste the beer.
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Did you know the third most important factor for customer retention is cleanliness? With 95% of shoppers saying exterior appliance influences where they decide to shop. Keep your business clean with Roper's Janitorial. From offices to restaurants, interior and exterior, walls to rugs and flooring. Roper's cleans it all, including 24-hour emergency service. Roper's Janitorial, 949-2511 or email janitorial@ropers.ky. Dress your business for success with Roper's Janitorial. We make your business shine. 949-2511. Roper's, providing products and services for better public health.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamp Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vampmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
Visit Healthcare Pharmacy's second location in Governor Square, servicing West Bay and the 7 Mile Beach Corridor with the care and professionalism you have come to expect from Healthcare Pharmacy. Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor Square also stocks a huge selection of Hallmark and shoebox greeting cards, vitamins, sunblock, last minute, and everyday needs. To refill and transfer your prescriptions, simply WhatsApp 329-7313 or visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or drop by Monday to Saturday from 9 till 6.
Don't be afraid to dream big, as it will inspire others. Join us as the reigning Miss World Cayman, JC Patrick, will be handing off her crown to a new Miss World Cayman on Saturday, May 29th. Come for a night of celebration and competition as we learn who will inspire us and represent Cayman at the International Miss World 2021 pageant in Puerto Rico. Join us on Saturday, May 29th at the Hartwell Theater for the annual Miss World Cayman pageant. Cocktails will be served at 6 p.m. with a 7 p.m. start. Tickets are $65 on Event Pro. Join us. Dream big. Inspire others.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning none other than Dr. Steve Macfield. We do have a caller queued up. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. How art thou?
Oh, I got 3 issues this morning.
Let's go. We want to hear him.
Oh, Rambo, he's the first one. Young man, you have the capacity. You might have one time had the ability. Get off of that old herb so see if you can recoup your brain cells and do what God gave you the ability to do, something besides running around talking about herb. Herb, the question of herb has been answered in the Cayman Islands as far as I am concerned. That is when you're sick, you get as much as your doctor prescribed for you. And as for you, you don't need none unless you're sick. You're tired of hearing you. I'm going to talk damn foolishness. Anyhow, sorry. Talking about turtle meat now, Mr. O.C. O.C., I don't know what happening by the turtle farm, but something not right. Something not right by the turtle farm. You go to the turtle farm day after day, you stand up, you line up, you do whatever, and you can't get turtle meat. We hear it's going there, and it's, it's kind of like given out to, regular commercial businesses.
People, those that have the standing orders?
Yeah, and all that. But it's not working for the poor person. It's not working for the little person that got a little Friday sale coming up, making little money, so that we not prance on any you all the time. It's not working for us. I want turtle once a month.
So are there long lines there for those persons who may not have put in or have a standing order, but are there so that when there's additional that they can get it? Are there long lines for that?
Well, let me paint your scenario. I'm not gone down in a long time, personally. I send when people go into the they get for me. But the long lines used to exist. We all know that. But what is happening now? This is a situation happening right now. A person who cooks turtle sent somebody on Wednesday. They didn't get any. They sent somebody yesterday. They didn't get any. The solution was to come again on Monday.
Wow.
But what I'm saying is, I don't know if this product is in short supply, and you got to begin to monitor it and restrict it and whatever. But if that's the case, oh my goodness! But the farm could let us know this.
Yeah, so I doubt it very much.
Aren't so high. But I'm just saying, just in case it is, because, they got a figure for 365 days. I'm just saying, to an entire population of, maybe 100,000 by now, because we'll never know the truth about that. But please, people at the Turtle Farm, folks, allow us to know what's happening.
Yes, yeah.
Allow us to know what's happening. Time is valuable, and you know, you don't have a butchery here in town. We got to all go into West Bay, wherever you're coming from. We got to go into West Bay. We got to make the journey. You get there. There's none for you today, and there is not even an afterthought, because I thought at this point they could say, well, okay, take a name. If you can get here tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon between XYZ hours, you know, we will note that your name has been taken. You were here before, and we will try to assist you as best we can.
Yeah, and $9 a pound is not cheap either.
And we will look at, when you look at this situation they had set up, the structure they had set up for the special order, you were looking at something like $15 a pound.
Well,
okay.
I know I know that one of the gentlemen who is involved in that part of the turtle farm is back, and I would imagine that he will probably be back on the job soon, or we hope that he will be back on the job soon. And not sure in terms of policy, you know, how involved he is in that, but I know for a fact that he certainly has a commitment to Caymanians and to local people, and tries to assist in whatever way that he can. I won't call any names, but
tell him good morning for me. Tell him good morning for me. Love.
Certainly.
And then now, the other thing now is, I don't know how to put this, Mr. Samamba, but thank you a ton, especially not for this morning, and this morning was great, but especially the last call on Wednesday, the conversation on Wednesday, that put it right in the cup, served it up with milk, sugar, and bread and butter. But not even one of us Caymanians would call behind that man and say, well, you know, yes, I agree, or something. Caymanians, we sit down and we move. And when somebody will talk for us, we won't even encourage them or thank them or something. But no truer words have ever been said of this society, in particular as it stands today, than Caymanians have no place to turn. And we sit down, if we can manage to keep that little job where constructive dismissal is going on all the time, we won't open our mouth. Folks, pretty soon you're not going to need to open our mouth. If you're still above ground, we're not going to need to open your mouth because there'll be nothing here for us to open your mouth for. I know, big guys.
My friend, before you go, I'm still trying to get some feedback in terms of the meeting on Wednesday night about the advisory district councils in particular, and what happened, not necessarily what happened there, but what their understanding is in terms of the way forward and when. Now, I know some people who are involved in it. They've called up on the show. They called up and spoke about the fact that a meeting would take place. It was a public meeting, so I would imagine that at the end of the day, there's nothing to keep secret. But I keep shouting out on air here, wanting to hear from them, but I'm not hearing from any of them yet, which is unusual.
I heard that most of all stakeholders were in attendance. I heard developers were in attendance. Now I wouldn't know what it would be going for, but they just went to keep the ears to the ground. But we stand under that too.
Okay.
Yeah, but I heard that even developers were there. Tells me something is in the mix. Something is in the mix, and somebody's on the right trail. And where bears continue to struggle, continue to fight. The struggle is real.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Caller. It's Tim Adam from Cayman Turtle Center.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing well, and I trust you and all yours as well.
Thank you very much. Dr. McField is here with me also.
Oh, good morning, Dr. McField. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Adams. How are you doing?
Always good to hear someone from the neighborhood.
Oh, thank you very much.
Mainland, right?
Yes, and I'll never forget our neighborhood. That's embedded in you and me and all of the people who come from that side of the Georgetown.
Yes, sir. I don't think we'll ever forget that. Mr. O'Connor have on the line with me a gentleman that is running our
Turtle sales, turtle meat sales.
Yeah, the sales, the processing, and all of that.
Okay.
And I don't understand what it is that the lady is talking about, nor can he.
Well, she said that
we have not run out of any turtle meat in terms of yesterday or today.
Mm-hmm.
And let me explain a little bit that might help.
Okay.
Maybe we can get more clarity on it.
Sure.
We process the meat. In the mornings, we begin quite early.
Mm-hmm.
And then we sell the meat beginning at 12:30.
Right.
And the outlet there is open until 2 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Monday through Friday. Of course, we're closed on public holidays. And that has continued. And we did not run out of turtle meat yesterday. I don't understand why the impression was given.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether or not it was this week that was encountered. It could have been she was talking about yesterday. And I think the scenario that she was pointing out there, the person went on consecutive days and were told that they, try coming back on Monday because they weren't able to get. Now, whether or not that person got there late or what, I'm not sure.
Okay. So the only other thing, and the gentleman is on the line and can help me with this.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing that I'm trying to think what the possibilities could be. I know that there's sometimes a demand for monavolins that might outstrip what we are able to produce for that particular day or the following day or something like that. Because we do get some orders, as you imagine. There's a distributor we deal with, and have a very good relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
And restaurants will order certain quantities of the two different types of product that we primarily sell.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those products is monavolins. And that can be not really in short supply because of what it contains. When you process a turtle, the monavolin, it consists of particular organs and so on that don't go into the turtle stew, and vice versa.
And it's a little cheaper too in terms of cost, right?
Well, it is presently. It's probably the wrong way around because when we're processing turtle in a given batch, the amount of monavolin that you can make from that batch is less than half of the pounds of turtle stew you can make from that batch.
Okay.
So I think that we definitely have to look at that because we're experiencing recently where that has been a bit of a pinch in terms of keeping up with pre-orders by restaurants and so on that we don't want to disappoint for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's something that we'll need to look at and consider how best to modify and fine-tune things. But in terms of not having turtle stew available, we're not familiar with that having.
Okay.
Not in recent times at all, as far as we're aware, because we generally produce a bit more, and we have a large walk-in freezer that can store it. And by so doing, we can keep adequate quantities that we don't disappoint people.
Yeah.
But we do close at 2, so
right.
I don't know whether that was a factor.
Okay.
And once they close at 2, there's a set of routines that the team has to do to do the closing, if you like, and then they need to prepare for the following.
Yeah, I must say, Mr. Adam, that my experience there in going when I go, without having a standing order, has been pretty good, and the crowds, the people who are queued up there are always extremely patient. And I have never, heard anyone leave being disappointed, before. So, like you said, unless we know the full circumstances surrounding the time that this person may have gone there and whatever. But I heard, if I'm hearing you right, your focus, of course, is mainly on your big customers. But I'm wondering whether or not we could concentrate a little bit more on the individual customer who may every other week or so be able to buy a 5-pound batch of turtle meat, whether or not a little bit more focus and energy be placed towards accommodating them.
Sure, and that is why we still operate the outlet at our Northwest Point location, because through the distributor, the restaurants can reliably place their orders, and then we, of course, get a consolidated order from the distributor. We supply that. On the consumer side, it does fluctuate, and we naturally will make our best estimate of each type of the product that we will need to produce in order to keep pace.
Yeah.
How much we need to have, as if you like, as a buffer in the freezer, and on each day's production run, make a determination what to do and how to do it. But to address that and to make the availability of it easier for the consumers and for the individual consumers, of course, is what we're talking about. We are very keen to, if you like, evolve or develop how we do it so that we can resume a method through retail outlet or outlets other than ourselves in order to make it easier for consumers in all parts of the island to be able to get it. We have an arrangement that seems to be working for Cayman Brac, and it seems like that works also for the sister islands. And then the same distributor we work with for the restaurants will also handle shipments to the sister islands. But we need to, we're very keen to get it also more accessible around the island here. Now, there's various things that need to be done to do that, but it is part of the imperative of why we do the production of turtle meat anyhow. The objective of that is that by making a legal source of a sustainable supply of turtle meat available, we keep the wild turtles in the wild. And the extent to which we can make it easier for a consumer to acquire that turtle legally, it will prevent or avoid the attractiveness of someone purchasing turtle meat that is obtained illegally, in other words, from the wild, which we really cannot afford to be taking in turtles from the wild in Cayman.
Right.
As you've seen, the results are amazing. Our program has yielded excellent results that each year now, more and more of the turtles that Cayman Turtle Center has released over the years are beginning to return here to breed and to nest. And we see the results of that, but it is still a small, tiny population compared to what it was before the population here was decimated by overusage, and overfishing. So the purpose of us producing the meat is so that we leave the wild turtles in the wild, and the extent to which we can reduce the attractiveness of poaching while at the same time maintaining a supply that matches the demand, and at the same time maintaining high welfare standards of our animals. That is a balance that we aim to strike.
Yeah.
So what I'm discussing now that's a potential future development is we need to do some reorganization of the way we do things, the way we price things, the way we distribute the turtle meat products to meet those ends, while at the same time not overstimulating the market, because overstimulation would then outstrip our ability to produce them and to produce sufficient quantity.
Got you.
It's an interesting equation that we continue to fine tune.
Got you.
The turtle meat is sold at a loss. I mean, it's a very deliberate conservation imperative. It's not something we make profit on.
And I don't think that people of the Cayman Islands, especially Caymanians, would criticize you, for that, because that maintains the tradition that we have in the Cayman Islands, and I think that is important. Yeah. We see, First Nation people in other countries, certain hunting traditions that they had, that they're constitutionally been able to retain, as well. But before you go, sir, this may be a little bit about your pay grade, and I'm just saying that facetiously. Says here, could you ask Mr. Adam, why do they sell people the turtle fat? Because sometimes you get 3 pounds of fat and only 2 pounds of lean. So they're complaining about too much fat in the 5 pound package.
Wow, that is very interesting to me to hear, because actually, we typically
I hear my friend laughing in the background.
It's the other way around. I mean, typically, we don't have sometimes the quantity of fat that people would like to have
Right.
for their turtle meat method of preparation, because you need some of the fat, to really do it well. The typical complaint I've heard is the other way around. So again, this is another. We're on a journey of continuous improvement.
Sure.
And this is one of the things we are considering, if you like, upgrading and paying close attention to apportionment of what parts go into the mix that we sell as a product labeled turtle stew, what parts go into the mix of the product we sell as labeled monavolins, and some degree of quality control of the tolerances for what portion of which goes into each of those different products.
Got you.
So it's good to hear. I mean, the other thing I can show you is this is a matter that is currently under some really good discussion, and we're looking forward to, as you mentioned, there's one gentleman I think is going to help us a lot in terms of refining it to the level we want to get it refined, because he has tremendous experience.
Yes.
And we certainly wish him well, and he's I believe now hale and hearty. I think he's almost finished with quarantine.
He was supposed to come out on Wednesday.
Yeah. So we're really, really looking forward to that moment when we can see him again, and he can be part of these continuous improvements.
Yes, certainly. We wish him well.
It's a very interesting business, and there's a lot to it that has to be done and done well behind the scenes in order for it to work well from the consumer's point of view. And certainly we are in a country. I wanted to allude to the point you made. The Cayman Islands is one of the few, and maybe the only country I'm aware of, where since these islands were first populated with human inhabitants, we have actually never done without having turtle meat. And it has been a part of the colonization experience. Turtles were what we used to sustain the voyage back home to Europe when we were first being colonized. And ever since the islands began to be settled, it was a very important source of meat.
Yep.
So it's now, whether we want to acknowledge this or not, because there's different people with different ideas about it. This is a reality in the Cayman Islands. This is ingrained in our culture. So I appreciate what you're saying about the importance of that, sustaining that culture to the extent that the population of this country want to sustain it. And then we have a duty to do it as best we can, as sustainably as we can, and as reliably as we can, so that the consumers are assured that they're getting the product they expect to get.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Extremely useful, in terms of you calling in and explaining everything to us. Thank you very much. Folks, we're going.
I'm glad I got it. I'm glad I got the chance to do it. I really appreciate you and Dr. Steve.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have to take a commercial break. Gone way beyond the commercial break time, but folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Green Turtle app. So many options. One easy solution. All new subscription feature to automate your weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly top-up. Makes your life easier. Never lose a number again. Keep your children on budget. Yes. Make sure you can stay in touch with your loved one. Woohoo! No hassles. Green Turtle makes it easy. Take a ride on Cayman's Green Turtle Express. Download the Green Turtle app today. It just makes life easier. Remember, you can get mobile gift cards for Xbox, PlayStation, Apple, and Spotify delivered right to your phone. Playtime is now in real time.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamp Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vampmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals. And being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to my Grass grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Coming on now. Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve Macfield. Paul, we have one caller on hold. Before I go to the caller, this person says, I am a health professional. They say turtle fat is very healthy cholesterol, and it's totally acceptable or accepted by the Dietary Services and the Weight Watchers Society. It's no harm, but has an addictive taste in the flavoring. And I'll just add to that and say this is not really from a professional, this is from a professional turtle eater's standpoint. And you need to know how to cook that turtle fat as well. Don't cut it into the big chunks. Cut it up very, very, very fine and let it sort of like dissolve and integrate into the gravy. That's how you deal with the turtle fat. And you know, you're actually eating it and you don't really realize that you're eating it, because some people really can't handle the large chunks of fat that is in it. So you need to be able to chop it up small. I have another question in relation to someone wanted to know whether or not work permit holders have to pay for the cost of quarantining, and I'll check that out if anyone is aware of that. I believe that the answer is yes, but I'll lean on my listeners to let me know if you're a work permit holder. When you return to the Cayman Islands, you have to go into quarantine. If you can't quarantine at home at your own expense, if you're doing it at a government facility, do you have to pay for it or not? Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, gentlemen. I couldn't resist getting in on that
turtle meat.
that turtle discussion there. But talking about the mix, I think if a panel was convened and get some information about the Henry Bush mix and the Everett Bush mix and Jackie's mix and Mr. Aaron's mix, I think we could come up with a good homogenized mix of the turtle stew lot. But you're talking about fats. There were two different kind of fats. There was the cork fat and there was the callipee fat, which was altogether different. The callipee fat was kind of I guess you could say lighter, where the cork fat was very, very dense.
Yes.
And they always put a piece of each of that fat on the what would have been called the turtle lot, which was basically stew was all we dealt with back in those days. And you got a little piece of the neck bone, and the tailbone,
and a piece of fin.
All the other, there's a story. Well, it was told me by several of his crew members. He said, Captain Ali, that was his favorite part of the turtle, was the fin. It just sort of steamed that up. That's a meal in itself. Anyway, good discussion, and I think if we come up with the Henry Bush, and I think Dr. Mike could help.
Oh,
with
yes.
that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Scott.
Thanks. Right.
Paul, we still have one commercial break to take, right? We still have one. You want to take the commercial break now, Paul? The last commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly. Short time between the commercial break simply because we went on longer in the last one. So bear with us.
The Green Turtle app. So many options. One easy solution. All new subscription feature to automate your weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly top-up. Makes your life easier. Never lose a number again. Keep your children on budget. Yes. Make sure you can stay in touch with your loved one. Woohoo! No hassles. Green Turtle makes it easy. Take a ride on Cayman's Green Turtle Express. Download the Green Turtle app today. It just makes life easier. Remember, you can get mobile gift cards for Xbox, PlayStation, Apple, and Spotify delivered right to your phone. Playtime is now in real time.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're going to take our last call for the morning. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Orwick.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
This is Georgia Lee Banks, and is my good friend Dr. Steve McField still there?
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
morning, ma'am. Good morning, Miss Georgia. How are you this morning?
I'm so thankful I'm alive, and always enjoy hearing Cayman's Encyclopedia on the radio, because that's what I call you.
Thank you.
I'll try to be really quick. Have either one of you eaten a corn turtle dinner yet?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes, ma'am. That was one of my favorite meals when I could get it. That is.
I know, I'm sure you didn't have as good a one as I used to have, because my husband used to go on the, he would go sometime down with the people who were bringing up the turtles, and they always used to corn the biggest and fattest turtle they could find. And let me tell you, when that was cooked down with coconut milk and some good bread kind and dumplings, you had a meal. No steak could compare to that. And is it true that we as Caymanians can't get turtle from the turtle farm as we wish, or as often as we wish, I should say?
Miss Georgette, based on my experience and what Mr. Adam had to say this morning, every day, well, not every day, but Monday through Friday from 12:30 until 2 o'clock, that is when turtle meat is available to the general public to go and purchase. They also have an outlet where the wholesalers go and collect there, so you don't have to mix with the persons like the restaurants and stuff like that, because they have their other source. So every Monday through Fridays from 12:30 to 2 o'clock available for Caymanians to go and buy, for anyone to in the public to go and buy turtle meat.
Well, I was raised up on good fresh turtle dinners and fish dinners. And if God lets me see the 19th day of September, I'll be 94.
Wow.
And
Congrats.
I only wish that my children and grandchildren and my great-granddaughter, little Luca, would have the privilege of eating some good, real turtle meat.
Yep.
And God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Georgette. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Last caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. Good morning to Dr. McLeod.
Good morning,
madam.
Yeah, we want to tell Miss Georgette we know what corn turtle is, because her husband, and she would remember, her husband used to go to Mesquite in those days with my grandfather, Captain Oswald E. Banks, and my dad, Dallas.
Okay.
Well, I spoke to Mr. Adams a few days ago about wanting to become a distributor for turtle meat. My dad is one of the older Caymanians that are still alive, thank God, and he's still going corn turtle meat. Mr. Kurt Tibbetts and Mr. McLaren still comes to Birch Hill every day to get, not every day, whenever they walk on turtle, because he said my dad is one of the older ones that can still corn turtle. So hopefully within about a month, he said, we should be able to get hold to some turtle meat, and I will be selling turtle meat, which will be convenient to everybody, that they don't have to rush down to our farm. I will try to keep up a supply, and I will be selling corn turtle as soon as we get it ready.
Okay.
So,
and in West Bay, in West Bay, you all cook corn turtle with the coconut milk as well?
But we're not cooking the dinner.
No, I understand that. No, I understand. I'm just asking,
Oh, yeah, my dad, we still cooks coconut, corn turtle with coconut.
Okay.
But we had it. We didn't get it last year. Just before the COVID lockdown, we had a food sale out at the farm by the West Bay Heritage for my son for the fundraising, and I couldn't turn it out fast enough. Mr. Bill Adams came. He bought 7 plates. We had him come in all the way from East End looking for corn turtle, because everybody was waiting on corn turtle.
Wow. Yeah.
We still try to keep up our Cayman tradition. Charlene calls it the 1960 kitchen. And that's what you hear her preaching on my mama's kitchen. She's preaching on. So she still looks corn turtle. So that's her talking about corn turtle. Okay, so as soon as I get it up and running, I will let you guys know and make it available. So you don't have to rush down to our farm. You will be able to get it the set hours from a certain time. So you don't have really big enough to get to our farm. I will be selling corn turtle, stewed turtle, steaks, and manowlins.
Excellent. Yes. Sounds good.
Okay, so I'll let you guys know that. And we're also selling turtle patties and fish patties and conch patties.
Who you're selling the turtle patties?
Yes, sir. I make turtle patties.
You still have them?
I don't have any, not today. I'm making some for tomorrow. I will get in contact with you, Dr. Steve.
Okay, thank you.
What about the roast? Like how they used to make the meatloaf? The turtle, you grind it up and you put it in a pan, and then you cut it in, you slice it up. You do that as well?
I'm not sure, but I'll have to get hold to my mom and them, because they're the only Caymanians.
Talk to Miss Joellen about that. She knows how to do that. Joellen Thompson.
Yes.
Joellen Thompson.
Yeah.
Bing Thompson's sister.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see if maybe she can tell me how that one goes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next week we want to hear from you about that meeting in Wednesday night too,
Well, that was a very good meeting. We had a very good turnout. Thank God. It was even on. We didn't even expect it was going to get that much, because usually when we have meetings, not too many people shows up. But we want to thank everybody that came. But it was a very productive meeting. We had all the MLAs from West Bay. We had the Minister for Environment, Mr. J.E. Bice came from North Side. We had a couple of people in between, but a very, very productive meeting.
Good.
And we're looking forward for another one.
Excellent. Okay, you take care. Have a great weekend. Doc, it looks like turtle meat And turtle cooking is taking up the rest of the agenda. This person
Yes,
says,
yes.
I am an old school traditional Caymanian cook. I know all about the turtle. I remember going down to the old Georgetown market, 4 a.m. in the morning to get turtle for my mother from Mr. Henry Bush. I know how to cook with the fat, but I have tons of fat in my freezer where every time I buy turtle, they load it up with a lot of fat. So we may have to have an inspectorate down at the turtle farm so that when those lots are when meat is being lotted out, that we say, okay, only a certain percentage can be fat.
Yes.
You know, as well with that. But we have to tell this story about the Caymanian, the upper class Caymanians, many of who were 7-day Adventists.
Yes, right.
But they were Caymanians first and Adventists
second. Yes.
And while they couldn't cook the turtle meat in their house at home, they would have somebody else cook it for them and bring it to their house, you know, for them. So that goes to show you how strong the tradition can be sometimes. And at the end of the day, it can trump religion.
Well, at one time it was the only meat that people had between January and December, because in December was sort of the only time that you could get beef. And beef was not something you could get every day. And so remember now, we didn't grow up in the supermarkets and refrigerators and things like that. And so you had to cook the turtle as you got it the first on the day that you purchase it. So there's no coincidence that everybody ate turtle, even though it was against their religion. They ate it. There's an old joke that someone gave me about that, but I don't remember it right now. I think I got it written down someplace at home about someone, not only the turtle but the pork
as well.
Yes.
Okay, well, very quickly, I'm going to try to cover this. One of the things that we know that the new government will have to be doing shortly has to do with the being accord with Section 23, subsection 1A of the Public Management and Finance Law. And that is the presentation of the strategic policy statement, which has to be presented for the next budget period, and of course we know that our budget now consists of 2 financial years. So 1st of January to the 31st of December of the 2 years. And that strategic policy statement must be presented to the Legislative Assembly by a member of Cabinet no later than 3 months after the date of the general election. So no later than 3 months after the 14th of April, the strategic policy statement has to be presented to the Parliament now, right? And that so that has to be done. And what the strategic policy statement is, it has an outlook for the 3 financial years, and its purpose is to outline the government's policy priorities. It also establishes the foundation for the development of the budgets for the next 2 financial years, as well. And the strategic policy statement contains the following elements: economic forecast for each of the next 3 financial years, total financial targets of the core government for the next 3 financial years relating to operating revenues, operating expenses, surpluses, borrowings, net worth, and cash reserves, an explanation of how the core government forecasts financial statements accord with the principles of responsible financial management, also includes the total amount of executive expense for the next 3 financial years, also targets gives targets for the operation for operating expenditure, executive expenditure, and capital investments allocated to each minister. The strategic policy statement demonstrates the government's continued commitment to managing public finances responsibly in order to ensure that compliance with the 6 principles of responsible financial management is maintained as required by the Public Management and Finance Law. So we know for certain that on or before the 14th of July of this year, that they have to go to the Parliament to present the strategic policy statement.
That's right. So the key, the SPS is the key component of the government solution, outlining their policy and their solution to the problems. And so, in closing, I would like to say that in our Westminster system form of government, the cabinet is responsible to find solutions to the political problems our citizens are faced with. Parliamentarians must try to serve their constituents by standing firmly on the matters that they have campaigned for, including jobs for Caymanians. And so the SPS, I'll be looking to see when the SPS is delivered within the next, that should be within the next month or so, isn't there?
We look six weeks.
The next 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm looking to see if the SPS includes anything about the campaign promises for jobs for Caymanians. Because the most effective legislator is one who always keeps himself free to use his best judgment in doing all he can to see that every bill on which he works contains the best possible and fairest possible balance between the interests of the various entities that will be affected by it. So I'm looking to see what the SPS outlines, because it will tell us where the government is going for the next 2 years and how they are going to get there.
Right.
And when they get there, what are they going to do when they get there.
Because some of it is uncertain, especially the financial part of it, if we're not able to exit this pandemic in the way that we would want to. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure.